do we feel like fighting games are leaning more towards the casual players than it is the actual fighting game enthusiasts? We've seen recently games like Street Fighter Five players have come out and said that they feel like Street Fighter Five. One of the things they love about it is that it's accessible for almost anybody to play, and one of the things they dislike about it is that it's accessible for everybody to play. And we've also had people like Karada from Tekken come out and say that he sees the future of fighting games being filled with AI, where AI can actually come in and help people actually do the moves that they're doing. How do you guys feel about this? Do you feel like this is actually a trend, that this is actually happening, or do you guys feel like that it's something that's not actually happening, or should it happen?
First off, I don't know what Harada is on. I don't know what dream he had. Um, what messenger bird or pigeon came and gave him that message of AI induced fighting games. But I just want to address that quickly. I don't. If it comes to something like a single player experience, and we in the future we implement some type of AI type thing, that could be cool. But when I'm fighting against a person, like I'm fighting against you and you got an AI helping you do combos and stuff, and no. So I'm gonna just go ahead and nip that in the bud immediately. But I kind of do feel that somewhat fighting games will be more centered to casuals or catered to casuals. Because if you look at it honestly, I feel like fighting games back in the day were harder. You look at like some of the execution for stuff. Just getting into those games and getting to a high level of some of the older games took a lot longer than it does nowadays. I mean, you got auto combos, you know. I think I don't know when auto combos started. I want to say maybe like P4 Arena might have been one of the first ones to start like auto combos, I think. And like really make them prevalent. And then you got games like Dragon Ball Fighters took suit. Um, I think like other games like Under Night, I think implemented them. Even Tekken now has like the assist and stuff, and I'm like, I don't really care for auto combos because I feel like if you're gonna learn the game and you want to play the game, you're gonna take the time to learn how to do things properly, and you're not gonna care to have auto combos in them. I mean, it does give like a window of access to people that are like newer to fighting games and don't play as often and may not be as hardcore. So they're like, oh, I can do a little cool combo just pressing square like 5 times in a row. But if they really want to get into the game and dive deeper, they won't mind like having to learn like actual execution and stuff. So I do think that in that regard, like when it comes to execution and like inputting things, they're kind of like catering more to the casuals. But I mean, something like even with Dragon Ball, it's a game that's kind of easy to get into. You can do some stuff, do some cool looking stuff, but like to get into it and master it and understand like the neutral and stuff, it still takes a good bit of practice and a long time to master. But I just think in the base level, getting people like that the sale of the game, or I want you to buy the game, it is getting a little more casual. But I would prefer to auto combos to just be gone. But that's just my opinion. I just love and relish the feeling of learning something that you took the time to practice to do. You know, with a combo or some type of move, and you like, man, I really learned how to do that without any assistance. That's a great feeling. Like feel like you've accomplished something. I would never feel like I accomplished anything if I was just like square, square. Oh, 100 hit combo, infinite TOD. I was like, I didn't earn that. I just pressed 10 buttons. So that's my opinion. I think that just in terms of inputs and accessibility, they are kind of maybe making things a little easier just to get more people into them. So
Okay, so I definitely do agree with Devin. I don't really like auto combos that much. I think that they don't really let players express their own creativity. They kind of limit the route by which people can actually fight in fighting games. That being said, it is kind of a good way for new players to get acquainted with the game. It's a good introductory introductory, phase for players because if there aren't new players coming in, if they're like for martial arts, the most important person in martial arts is the beginner because without the beginner, the art would die, right? So getting new casual players to come in and then potential casual players who might change into hardcore players later on is good, but eventually they're gonna have to take the training wheels off. You got to take the training wheels off and actually move up to the next level because auto combos will only get you so far. Oftentimes, more experienced players will not really look favorably upon you if they see you using auto combos, because then they know, they're like, oh, okay, I know exactly who I'm playing right now, you know. So they know they know a lot of the weaknesses of those auto combos, so they're going to take advantage of your combos. Like in was it? I know there's I think there's auto combos in like the Dragon Ball Fighters. There's auto combos in that, you know. But you don't want to do those because experienced players, they know what those look like. They know exactly what to do, how to guard against them, how to counterattack. They know how unsafe some of the enders are for some of those moves. So you got to come up with your own stuff. You got to reach deep inside yourself and like realize your own potential as a player to surpass basically the barrier of auto combo. You got to take off the training wheels and really learn how to play the game. I was playing Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, and I was using auto combos to begin with. But like most players, eventually I realized you can only get so much mileage off of using an auto combo. Eventually, you got to come up with something else. It gets old really quick, not only for the person that you're fighting, but for you. You're going to be like, man, I don't like this. I don't feel like I'm doing much. I feel like I'm basically on autopilot for some of these moves. And eventually, you know, you go online, you go into Discords, look up YouTube videos, or get advice from other players and learn how to play the game better. You get deeper and deeper into the game, and then you start, you know, beating the brakes off of the people who used to just walk all over you before. So therein lies the accomplishment of learning how to play the game, going from somebody who was so far behind everybody to sometimes catching up and even surpassing the people who used to just completely trounce you. So but like I said, the auto combos, it's generally speaking, it's only good for casual players to get into the game. But eventually, I feel like most casual players get past that, they move on, and you know, they evolve into better players. The whole thing about AI, no, just no.
Guys, going back to the original question, I wanted to think about like the differences between the mentalities of how casuals and competitive players view things. Definitely, as you see the game industry going forward with fighting games, there's definitely some effort to pull in more attention of casual players. Otherwise, why would these companies be drastically changing their gameplay, their stylistic choices and everything, other than player retention and getting new players to come in? But I'll give you an example of what happened to me. I remember when I was living back home in Mississippi, my brother and my cousin were the only players in my area at all I could play. I had no scene. I didn't have a lot of friends, so I played my brother and my little brother and my cousin. And I remember their enjoyment. They're both hardcore casual players. I call the hardcore casuals. Those are casuals who don't want to learn anything else. They just want to mash buttons and play the game. I remember how excited they were to play these brand new fighting games every time I brought them, whether it be Injustice or Mortal Kombat or Soul Calibur. And as soon as they played me and I beat them, their enjoyment just died. Because for the mentality of a casual player isn't to overcome a barrier. The mentality of a casual player is just to beat the person in front of them for fun. But in totality, though, the way fighting games are going towards casual mentality, or rather a change in their approach to like controls and visuals and everything towards casual players, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I just think personally that the targeting is wrong. I think the real issue is closing the gap to make casual players understand why learning fighting games is interesting and important. I think not every game does a good job of doing that. I think not every game does a good job of explaining why you should invest time into learning the mechanics. You might get a tutorial mode that teaches you one or two things you learn here and there, and you're off to the races. Where I think there should be a longer system, or a system to allow people to really see the detail and the information that's before them. Like in Guilty Gear, for example, has an amazing tutorial mode, one of the best tutorial modes I've ever played. I'm not personally a Guilty Gear player, but I remember this tutorial was outstanding in closing that gap and allowing us to see information like that. So personally, I would like to see more attention put towards tools of increasing The retention of casual players by teaching them mechanics of fighting games are good and interesting, and they should invest in them rather than dumbing down the mechanics themselves.
I just want to say one thing, actually, to add on what I was talking about earlier, and y'all just made the point too. Excuse me. Mortal Kombat, I think, has been the biggest component of that is characters. When you just said about MK having so many sales, and it's not from the FGC alone, obviously it's not. Excuse me. The characters, like the guest characters, I think that type of stuff right there definitely brings in casuals, because a lot of people just like, oh, Terminator's in the game, I want to play. Like Rambo's in the game. Like a lot of those people are not like people that actually like practice and sit down and like really try to learn the game. They just want to see those characters in the game in video game form. And I do think that's probably one of the better ways to get casual people into the game. It's like something that's fun and unique. Even like more game modes. It seems like nowadays game modes, I think we talked about this last week, like the game modes are kind of lacking. So maybe, give people something to do besides just, because sometimes there have been fighting games that just releasing this like pretty much versus mode, training mode. And it's like a casual person is like, if they don't have friends that they can play with, there's nothing for them to do, So, and again, they don't, even if there's something like auto combos in the game, they don't want to just keep losing to people using auto combos. See, I just think like the content is where they're going. Like at least NRS, I feel, is doing a good job of having their content grasp casuals into the game. So then, you might get a casual that comes in, they're like, oh, I want to take it to the next level. I always remember hearing a story about Ray Ray. He's one of the best Marvel 3 players. And it was like his first, before he started playing Marvel, he was playing Mario Party. And I just thought that was so hilarious. That it's like he goes from playing apparently no other fighting games from Mario Party to one of the best Marvel 3 players ever. And I just thought that was weird from like, he was, I guess, a casual. I don't know. He was a hardcore Mario Party player, but he went from that to being one of the greatest Magnetos. It was just kind of funny. But yeah, I think the content that you bring also grabs people. And that's more than like bringing in things like this, like gameplay mechanic wise. Because a lot of times casuals don't care about that. They just want to press buttons and do things that look cool. So if you give them things that they can see that's tangible, oh, that's cool, that character's in the game, they're more likely going to buy it.
Another thing is focusing on the characters and the gameplay just being fun, just something interesting that catches your eye immediately. I'll give you a good example, like the Rain trailer from a few weeks ago. Rain's redesign looks amazing. I love the stylistic choice of it. I love the effects and everything I saw with it. Just seeing that trailer made me hyped to play MK again. And I haven't been hyped to play MK in a long time, to be honest, since the last few months anyway. So just seeing that trailer and seeing a character that I can grasp towards, I think developers should make sure to invest in their characters and the personas they've created over these decades, and making sure that those characters are put on the forefront and exemplify why they're cool and why they're fun to play. And I think more casuals will be interested in playing those characters.
Yeah, I actually agree with that, because that's kind of what keeps me for the most part from playing some games. Like for instance, like King of Fighters 14 was, all right, well, nobody plays that game, right? But the thing about it is that back when King of Fighters 14 was coming out and they were announcing all the characters, I was like, I don't know if I want to play this game. I don't, like, they have some of the characters, but they don't have all the characters I want to play in this game, And then they were like, oh, guess what? We're putting Ryuji Yamazaki as DLC. I was like, oh, they're putting Ryuji in the game. And I bought the game and like I didn't even just buy him. I was in a situation where I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm going to buy this one character. But if I'm going to buy this character and they're selling all the other characters in a bundle for cheaper, I might as well just buy the bundle. So I ended up buying the bundle for it. So, then I have all the characters. Now I got all the characters in the game, and you make a little bit more money off of me being stupid, because I want to play with all the characters, And so I really only want to use Ryuji, but I'll buy the other characters because in my mind I can rationalize it and be like, okay, yeah, I'll just go ahead and buy all of them, So I don't even play King of Fighters 14 like that. I don't even have the game right now. I let somebody else borrow it, but I can't get my money back. So, the thing about it is like, that's kind of like in Mortal Kombat, and I've said this so many times, and I'll say it again. bro, if they put Ferritor in the game, I would play the game. I'd buy the game. I'll buy all the DLC. I will buy every single I made this promise before. I will buy all the DLC packs if they put Ferritor in the game. I won't, not even just Ferritor, like not even just like whatever DLC pack they put them in. If they put them in, I'm talking all of them. Aftermath, like this next one, the first one they did, all of them. I'll buy all of them. Even if I don't even initially play the game like that, I'll do it. But that's the thing. Like I'm an untapped market. I am an untapped market that people, they could be like, oh yeah, we're just going to put Ferritor in the game for $5. And then that's $5 for Ferritor, and then of course whatever money I have to pay for the actual game, and I'll pay it too, because now I get to play my favorite character. I mean, what's better than that? Just put Ferritor in the game, please, for the love of God, come on.